Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful like Akim, teaching and preaching this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Aki Wasap, and today's lesson is entitled, No Matter How Much You Clean It, It's Unclean. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. And as always, the sit downs, our lessons, the street speaking, is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High to use the gospel preach. So this week at the street speaking, there was a woman that came up and she was, we was just going over, a couple of things, a couple basic things in the law in regards to, the dietary law. And, she was a transient, but, through the spirit, she was receiving the truth to a certain degree. So she made a comment while we was going into the dietary law. And that comment was, what if we clean it real good? So I just want to go into that, and Lord will it be edifying. So here's the clip. Tune in. All right. So she said, what about if you clean it real good? Okay. It doesn't matter how much you clean it, the Lord has pronounced that particular animal unclean. So here in Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and it's entitled Laws About Animals for Food. And it reads, And Yahweh spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. So when it came to particular animals, there were things that we looked for on the animal to determine if it was a clean animal or if it was an unclean animal. So as it says here, whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud. Cheweth the cud goes into how the animal digests its food, right? And then hoof and cloven footed, I have an image here. All right. Part of the hoof and is cloven footed. It's an example. So there were signs that we looked for on animals that will determine if the animal was, righteous to eat or not. Okay. Verse 4, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that cheweth the cud. So there's an animal that it chews the cud and going into the way in which it digests its food. There's YouTube videos of this process. Just look it up. It says, or of them that divideth the hoof. So here it is. You may see an animal, okay, it digests its food in a particular way. And then there's an animal over here that he's divided the hoof, but there's a certain clause. It says, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud. Now, a camel, he digests his food in this particular way of chewing the cud, right? but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So when it came to the animals that we were looking for to eat, they had to fit the the whole description of what the Lord said in the third verse. It can't be lacking, in anything. It says in the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Unclean meaning you don't eat. Now the coney, let me see something real quick. Scriptures give some examples. Let's back up a little bit. All right. So you got the Jamaican coney. It looked like a rat or something. Jamaican coney. You got Coney Island in New York, but it looks like a hamster. Okay, a rat or something like that. Let me see. All right, we're not to eat shit that look like rats. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So we don't eat that. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So the Lord lists a couple of examples. Let's see what a hare is. And this lesson is, for the newly tuning in, Akim. You got brothers that just woke up to the faith yesterday, last week, and they may not search the archives, on our channels to go into these different topics. All right. So a hare looks like a rabbit or a bunny. All right, something of that family. We don't eat no shit like that. And Esau, they eat rabbit, they eat, rat. You got certain cultures in the Southeast Asian area, Euro Asian area, that they eat, rats and shit like that. And then they also, worship rats. At the Taj Mahal, I mean, not the Taj Mahal, but there's a particular temples in certain areas where they're dedicated to rats, and that they look at them as sacred creatures. And they believe, the legend has it that they believe that some of those rats are their ancestors, just completely bugged out, man. All right. Those rats and different species is unclean. Now, here's the point. Verse 7. And the swine, we call it today pig, though he divide the hoof, yet his feet is cloven. It looked, according to the sign that we read in the third verse, and be cloven footed. So he got the right, his feet, he got the right looking feet, right? Yet he cheweth not the cud, the way swine or pigs digest their food. All right. It doesn't fit what the animals that we are to eat should do. And it's, as it says here, he is unclean. All right, let's go into this word unclean real quick. Unclean goes back to tama'ah, unclean, impure, ethically and religiously, in a religious sense. So, and it says polluted there. So these are animals that the Lord have pronounced unclean to eat. It says, of their flesh ye shall not eat. You're not supposed to eat their flesh. And their carcasses shall ye not touch. You're not even supposed to touch their dead bodies. They are unclean unto you. So we got this Shalom, Yahba Shemiel Shai, Baraka. Oh wait, hold on. We got a comment here. Dwight N. Deer. Yeah, deer is clean. All right, that's a clean animal. You can eat deer. All right. And as a matter of fact, I got to cut the lesson short. I got the this alarm system going on over here. So that was pretty much the lesson. All right. The woman, she went into how about if you clean it real good, but the scriptures say that that animal itself is unclean. Whether you clean it, whether you monitored that animal and made sure it ate nothing but fruits and different greens and herbs, it's still unclean. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Got to cut it short. And Lord willing, you're edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Shalom, Akim. Stay strong.